My mother demanded that I hand over my inheritance money to my half-sister, but she was livid and went nuts when I took all my pennies and dropped them in her hand. My parents divorced when I was 10. And I'm now 20 because my dad found out she was cheating when she told him my brother and sister weren't his. When asked for her reason for cheating, she said that she found a man who could give her a high life, unlike my dad, a farmer trying his best to maintain a family while managing my grandfather's farm. When discussing custody over me in court, my mom said she wanted nothing to do with me and left my dad with full custody while she took my brother and sister with her and then married her side piece a month after everything was finalized. Of course, with the rise of social media, she only includes me in family photos to make herself look good, even though she tosses me to the side afterward. I don't even have a relationship with my siblings because they look down on me for classist and petty reasons. Now, we'll go on with the show with that out of the way. It was about 7:30 in the morning. I was feeding cattle and having a jam session when my dad came to the feedlot to tell me someone was coming to see me. I asked him who it was, but I didn't need him to answer once I saw the angry look on his face as he threw a cigarette he had failed to light. I hop off the tractor and walk around the farmyard until I spot a brand new Porsche with my mother in the driver's seat. To describe what she looks like, imagine someone did a crappy job doing James Charles and Jeffree Star's heaviest makeup routine simultaneously. A Karen haircut with only the blondest of highlights and a spray-on tan that would make Trump look pale. I often wonder if she'll ever do a face reveal so the world can see the hunk of Swiss cheese under all that. I walk up to her car and politely say hello before she wrinkles her nose and looks disgusted at me. She said, "Don't you have anything better to wear, besides those filthy rags, and take that wad of chewing tobacco out of your mouth? I'm embarrassed that you're my son looking like that." I said, these are work clothes, and I was working, and I just put this chaw and it ain't even kicked in yet. What do you want? She looked me up and down with a disgusted look again before taking a deep breath and speaking. "Mother, I need to ask you a favor. It's rather important." The only thought going through my head was, she's part of a cult and needs me to be a blood sacrifice at tonight's meeting. I asked that it be. She said, "See, your sister will be graduating this year, and I think it would only be fair if you gave her the money your grandfather left you since you don't need it." I know what she's after now. My grandpa had put aside $25,000 for each grandchild that, once they turn 18, they can use for college buying a car. The only catch was you needed to either graduate high school or obtain a GED. Now, why would she want this money, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. She had asked my grandpa after the divorce that not only should her kids, my brother, and sister, still get the money, but also he needed to beef it up a few grand. Out of spite, my grandpa took the money originally meant for them, put it all in mine, and told her only his actual grandkids could get the money. A few years later, when he passed away, my dad added some of his inheritance to it, so when I graduated, I ended up with $93,000. I have since spent $27,000 out of it on a tractor and put the rest in savings, which I add to my paychecks. Me, why would I give her any of my money? She doesn't even speak to me anymore. She said, "Because it would be only fair since your grandpa denied her that money that she deserves since she'll be attending college. Unlike you, as her big brother, you need to be responsible. That money was left to me for me to use on what I wish. If she wants it, she needs to ask me herself instead of you telling me to do so." Mom said, "She doesn't need to ask you. I shouldn't be asking you either. But since your grandfather was an asshole and you weren't caring enough to hand it over before, here I am. Aren't you guys paying for her college? So why must I give her some?" She replied, "Well, I'm paying for tuition and housing, but she'll need spending money as she shouldn't be working a low-level job to have money for fun." I told her, "Then give her spending money, too." She said, "But I'll already be spending a lot as college is expensive. Won't you do this for her?" I said, "No, I won't. When has something been too expensive for you? Make your side piece work harder like you did when you wanted something big and flashy." Angry, she said, "How dare you speak to me like that? I'm your mother, and you should be thankful I gave birth to you. Even a little bit will help." An idea came to mind. I falsely apologized to her and said she was right. I should give her something. I told her I would run to my truck and grab the checkbook, and off I went. Once at my truck, I dug through the cup holders for pennies. Every little bit helps, right? Once I've gathered 20 pennies, I walk back and tell her to hold her hand out and drop them in with a smile. "What's this?" she said. "You said a little bit could help a lot, didn't you? So I thought you could have that." She said, "This isn't what I meant. A few thousand or more of what I had in mind." She then throws the pennies at me and starts blaring the horn, screaming at the top of her lungs. I gave her what she asked for. Honestly, where's a pokeball when you need one? This one needs to be trained professionally on how to act. I'm just standing there watching her go on like this, demanding money and calling me everything under the sun. When she goes quiet, I hear my dad yell out from somewhere, "Shut the F up, you beach." Taking this moment, I look back at her and say, "You never said, thank you." Mother said, "F you, and you will give your sister what she deserves." I told her, "When you do a face reveal, I will." She told me to go F myself and sped off, and that was the end of it. That's all for this episode, folks. Until next time, remember to pick up your popcorn containers and leave the theater orderly.